We all just expect the internet to work, right? It's like flipping a light switch. But here's the thing. Our digital world is way more fragile than most of us realize. Today, we're going to look at what happens when one tiny little error starts a massive digital domino effect. And, maybe more importantly, what the super high-stakes world of finance can teach us about how to survive that inevitable crash.
I mean, seriously, think about that question for a second. It's something we barely consider because, for the most part, the internet just works. But what if it didn't? What if a service that millions of websites and apps rely on just vanished one morning? Because on that day, a huge piece of the web did exactly that. And you'd think it was a solar flare or some massive coordinated cyber attack, right? Nope, it was something way smaller and honestly, a lot more unsettling. And it all started with just one company, Cloudflare.
So at 11:20 UTC, things start to go wrong. But look at these time gaps. It takes engineers almost 2 hours just to put a band-aid on the problem. Core traffic doesn't really get back on its feet for over 3 hours. And the final all clear? That doesn't come until 17:06. That's nearly 6 hours where a cornerstone of the modern internet was basically teetering on the brink.
Okay, so whenever an outage this big happens, everyone's first thought is, hackers! But Cloudflare's own report shut that down fast. This wasn't an outside job. The call was coming from inside the house. The real culprit was way more subtle, and it all kicked off with a single, simple file.
To really get how one file can bring down a digital giant, we've got to look at the anatomy of this failure. It's a perfect, almost scary case study in how these incredibly complex systems can break in the simplest, most unexpected ways.
It all starts with this thing, called a feature file. The easiest way to think about it is like a little rulebook for hunting threats. It's constantly getting updated, we're talking every few minutes, to help Cloudflare's network spot the latest bad bots and other nasty stuff online. It's small, it's fast, and it is absolutely critical to the whole operation.
And here it is, the first domino. A developer made a tiny, routine change to some database permissions, the kind of thing that happens 1,000 times a day. But this one change had a weird side effect. The process that built that feature file, it started spitting out duplicate data. And just like that, the rulebook doubled in size. A simple glitch with a massive consequence.
Now for the second domino. You've got the software that has to read this rulebook, the core proxy. This thing is built for one thing: speed. And to be that fast, it has a trick. It sets aside a very specific, fixed amount of memory to hold the file. The whole system is designed on the assumption that the rulebook isn't going to suddenly get fat.
So you can see where this is going. When this suddenly bloated feature file showed up, the core proxy tried to load it, realized, uh-oh, this isn't gonna fit, and did the only thing it knew how to do. It panicked and crashed. A total system failure, triggered by a file that was just too big to read.
And when that core proxy went down, the dominoes just started falling, one after another, fast. Websites everywhere went dark. Can't log into your favorite services. And here's the kicker, the absolute irony of it all. Even Cloudflare's own dashboard went down, locking out the very engineers who were desperately trying to fix the problem. One small file took down the whole ecosystem.
This whole mess forces us to ask a much, much bigger question. If a corner of the internet we use every day is this fragile, what about the systems where the stakes are infinitely higher? I mean, what happens if this kind of cascading failure hits the global financial markets, where billions are traded every millisecond?
The biggest difference between these two worlds really comes down to their whole philosophy on failure. The Cloudflare incident was a reactive crisis, right? A mad scramble to fix something that nobody saw coming. The financial markets, though, are built on a proactive foundation. They literally assume failure is going to happen, and they are legally required to have a plan for it.
And this proactive approach, it basically acts like a massive firewall for the entire financial system. It's not about trying to prevent every single error from ever happening. That's impossible. It's about building a system so tough that it can absorb these shocks and recover almost instantly. The architects of this firewall? They're the regulators. What you're seeing here is the logo for the Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI. They, and organizations like them all over the world, create these incredibly detailed rulebooks. And this isn't just bureaucratic red tape, it's a meticulously engineered playbook designed to prevent the exact kind of digital domino effect we just saw with Cloudflare. And this really gets to a fundamental shift in mindset. In the financial world, they don't waste time asking if a system will fail. They just assume it will. So the only question that actually matters is, how prepared are you for the moment it does?
So let's break down how they build this resilience. First, Every single financial institution has to have a business continuity plan. That's the master playbook for any disaster you can imagine. Second, they have to run a disaster recovery site, a complete mirror of their entire system, often in a totally different part of the country. Third, they're forced to run drills and audits all the time to prove this stuff actually works. And finally, there are strict, non-negotiable deadlines for getting back online.
And how strict are we talking? Well, if a critical system goes down, regulators demand a maximum recovery time of just 45 minutes. Now, compare that to the nearly 6 hours it took Cloudflare to get back to normal. The expectation isn't just recovery, it's almost instantaneous recovery.
And the goal of all this is crystal clear. You have to prevent a single point of failure from crashing the entire market. It's about making sure no data ever gets lost and avoiding the kind of long shutdown that could cause widespread panic. It's all about maintaining trust in the system no matter what's breaking behind the curtain.
So what's the big takeaway here? As we build more and more of our world on top of these incredibly complex digital systems, we're pretty much living in a fragile glass house. And it really comes down to a tale of two realities. On one side, you have inevitable failure. It's just a fact. Complex systems will always have bugs. Things will break. On the other side, you have the solution, mandated resilience. The only way to build a system that can survive is to first admit that it's going to fail.
You know, the Cloudflare outage is a powerful reminder. In a world built on code, we spend so much time and money defending against the big, scary attacks we can see coming. But maybe our greatest vulnerability isn't the sophisticated hacker. Maybe it's the simple, boring, everyday error that we never even thought to look for.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.